What's up, nerd family?
Is
that's
the camera
right.
adjusted here?
YouTube. Hey, dog butt. Thank you.
Am I like in the middle of it?
Nope, you're fine, Isaac.
Fine.
Get this all adjusted so everybody's in there. Got Grandma in the back there.
All right, guys. Whoa. What is going on? God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So here we are, live for the for our Joker review. We meant to do this earlier tonight. Wanted to do this earlier, but we said we were going to do it on a Thursday night. Unfortunately, Landon went out playing airsoft today.
And you had band practice.
And I had band practice with a friend of mine. But then my friend's car broke down, and I had to go jump his car and go pick up Landon. So Landon will be joining us here in just a second. But we wanted to get to this because we said we were going to do it. Yep. And so now we're going to do it. All right. So is there anybody here?
Yeah. We have William and Jeremy Harris.
What's up, Jeremy Harris? How you doing, buddy? And welcome, William. So we're just going to talk about this movie because we've been wanting to talk about it for like a week now.
Yeah.
And lots to talk about. First of all, let's just say whatever.
William actually says, I'm seeing the movie this weekend, so I'll comment my review when I've seen the video.
All right. I that's right. I remember you saying that Tuesday night in the live stream on Tuesday.
Yeah, during Talk Nerdy to me.
So I will just say this. The movie is phenomenal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The movie's great. Like, it doesn't even have to be a Joker movie. It's just a really good movie. Right?
Which is what you were afraid of. You're like, if it's a standalone, how much, is this going to affect, or how much are we going to even like it if it doesn't go into this, the other movies, the other Jokers?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So, I will say this. When we did our trailer reaction video for the Joker, that's the only video I've ever taken down.
Yeah.
From
Because of
from
the
our page.
conversation with the people fighting with you?
Yes, well, there was a lot going on there because we did our trailer reaction video, and all my concern was, all I ever voiced, I never said it was going to be bad, never said that I didn't understand what it was like as a movie. I understood it was an Elseworlds thing. It was a different take on the Joker. My concern was that, like, we really didn't get a lot in the trailers, honestly. I mean,
No.
I've seen the movie now, and you look back at the trailers didn't tell us squat. Not that trailers have to tell us everything that's in a movie.
Marquez768 said, hey,
What's
guys.
up, Marquez? Marquez, I believe that's the same Marquez that designed our new T-shirt.
Very cool. What is up?
What's that? Yeah, he designed he designed the Empire Strikes Back T-shirt.
Which we need
style.
to get now.
Yep, the Poindexter Lounge Empire Strikes Back, and you can get that in our merch store. So thank you, Marquez. But my thing was like, we never really understood what the motivation was by the trailers.
Yeah.
And that's all I ever said. People, like, stomped me into the ground.
You.
They attacked me worse than they attacked the Joker in that alley. They broke my
Pretty
sign.
much.
They broke me in the sign, kicked me in privates, and left me there with my big bozo clown hair and everything else. Like,
Did you look at them like this? And just stare at them until it
Just
got
kinda held
creepy and
myself.
awkward?
till it faded off. And like, I just took abuse. But here's the thing. It was okay.
Jeremy says that's the internet for you.
Right? I know. That's the internet, man. And that was like...
He says, how dare you have an opinion?
I know. And the thing is people were telling me that I was not a DC fan.
And Russ said, hey guys, I got the notification this time, haha.
Awesome, Russ. But
Welcome.
people were actually telling me, people who don't know who I am, they've never been to the channel before, telling me, Enosh Fee, that I am not a DC fan and that I don't know anything about DC. I know, right? That's like telling Caleb here on the channel that he doesn't know.
He knows nothing
Right.
of nerd stuff.
I'm sorry, it's the only thing I got tattooed on me. My son's middle name is Jor-El. I got a room full of stuff and a lifetime full of nothing but DC memories.
It's no longer a room, it's a house.
Right?
We
Thank
have
you.
a house full of stuff
We
now.
do. And so I love DC. So it was never a thing of whether or not I loved it or was going to love it or whatever. It just was what it was. And so that happened. Well, then when WB did a copyright claim I was fine with it. We did like 35,000 views on that video like overnight. It was like great. And I was like, hey, sweet, I'll leave it up. You can beat me up all you want to because Honey Badger don't care. But the minute that WB said, yeah, we're going to demonetize that video, I was like, it's not worth getting beat up for. So I took it down. But I may put it back up now because like I think I'm justified a little bit in what I said based on that. But the thing is like going to see this movie, I didn't know what to expect, and I was very
None of us
pleasant.
did.
I was pleasantly surprised by what the movie delivered, because I was concerned that one, how do you do a Joker movie without Batman?
Yeah.
How do you do a Joker movie where
It
where
like revolves around him.
yeah, that it just revolves around him, and then Bruce Wayne is so much younger, you know? And you know what? I've kind of gotten over that a little bit, because the more I start thinking about it, like when you, I mean, and I know this was always a thing, and I always thought about this, but like I didn't really, I'm less concerned about that age thing now, because if you watch '89 Batman with Michael Keaton, there,
It's kind of like
this
a
Joker
Joker
is
movie.
older than Jack Nicholson's character was in that movie.
But, it's
But
like
I'm
until
over
you
it.
get past your
But they still
20s,
have that
everything
age
seems
gap.
like, oh my gosh, there's such a big deal. And then all of a sudden you
Yeah.
hit your 20s and you're like, it doesn't matter if this one's 20 and this one's 40. I mean, it's just a matter of where it's at in the story.
Is where and who knows, there may be more story to
It's doing something.
it's doing something. Are we still alive?
Jeremy Harris said be right back, but I don't know if that meant we're going to be right back or he is.
No, it's still going, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure. All right. So, but Joaquin Phoenix now has said, you know, I enjoyed doing this so much. There may be more story.
He was really good with his creep factor.
He was. So I'd be interested to see more story from this. I don't know how you do a sequel just to this movie without it being later on and without Batman.
You explain what really happened at the end of the movie. Was that real or not?
So we're gonna get into that. All right. So that's my initial take. Tiffany, what's your initial take?
I thought it was really good. You know, unfortunately, I was on call that night, so I did have to step out once or twice, but I didn't feel like I missed any integral parts of the movie by, you know, just missing, you know, a couple minutes here and there. But I thought it was really well done. I think that Joaquin Phoenix, he's a very good actor when it comes to, I mean, I remember back when he like said he was stepping away from the limelight forever, and then all of a sudden he comes back and it was all for the sake of the role. You know,
Grew that beard and,
and he
said he
was-
was gonna be a rap star.
and then he was, you know, he did Johnny Cash. He's done all these great roles, and this one was no different. I thought he was phenomenal. He showed his crazy side. He showed, you know, just it was very. I liked the fact that it was kind of like American Psycho, where you didn't know what's real and what's not, and he played that like when he would sit there and he's like, you know, when he was talking to the psychologist or psychiatrist or whichever one it was, and he's just like, you're not listening to me, you ask the same questions all, it's like you could see a little bit just inside of his brain and like where he came from and what made him do what he did. So I thought it was really well done, and if they did do another movie, I would be interested to see if they're gonna explain from this movie or what, or
Yeah.
I'd be interested just because it was done really, really well.
Isaac, your initial
Plus,
thoughts.
he lost a lot of weight for the role.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Your initial thoughts.
I thought it was really good. Also, I like some of like the imagery that they used in the movie.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
Because there's one thing
True,
that I
Caleb.
realized is I've been looking at posts this week, like from the movie, like from all like the DC pages that I follow. And one page pointed out that opening scene when he's like doing the makeup like at that desk.
The mirror,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
If you pause that scene and pretty much outline what's in the mirror, you can make out a Batman cowl.
Oh wow,
Really?
nice.
Yeah,
Interesting.
there's two lights placed for an eye. His head's supposed to be like the
Huh.
mouth.
I gotta go watch
piece
it
right
then.
here. Yeah.
We still have to no matter what, and
I
then we
know.
gotta own it.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
And I like that shot towards the end, like after he does that TV interview, like how it's zooming out and it shows like all those TV shots like of the news, like
Mm-hmm.
reporting on like what just happened.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought that shot was just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we got like a new take on the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His Joker, which
We had never seen this perspective.
yeah, which I really like that.
Yeah.
And I also like what you said is it's like you don't know like what was in his head and what actually happened.
And it shows a lot of, you know, the world of, you know, just, you know, the depression and the, you know, how people handle, you know, mental illness and just the things that they kind of tackled and weaved in and out of in this movie. I thought that was a good.
Well, speaking of which, so all these people now all of a sudden there's people who reportedly got up and walked out of the movie. There's people calling for the movie to be banned.
We had, when we went to our theater, the guy actually told me as he was ripping our tickets,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a very psychological movie, and if you really don't like it, we can give you your money back. I'm like,
Which is a weird thing to tell people.
That's
Is
not-
they had police officers literally lined up at the theaters because they were worried that somebody was going to go on some kind of shooting spree or whatever. And I love it because in the news reports, there's nothing founded. There was no threats. There was no nothing. There. I hate that we live in this world where all of a sudden, if we got a movie about a white guy who is crazy, who goes on killing sprees, that all of a sudden the whole world reacts like white guys are going to go crazy and go on killing sprees because of it. It's a movie.
don't send in the clown.
I'm just going to say this once, and it may not be a popular opinion or whatever, but here's the thing. There is no credible evidence that says that violent movies, TV shows, games, or anything like that has anything to do with how somebody turns out. When I was a kid, had a whole freaking arsenal of toy guns. I played with G.I. Joe,
We had Nerf
Transformers,
guns.
wrestlers. We shot at each other all the time. I had a BB gun, the whole
Army
9
guys.
yards. I mean, army guys, everything. And guess what? I never wanted to kill a single person. I never wanted to pick up a gun and go shoot a bunch of people in a crowded room. Never wanted to do that because you know what? My grandma raised me right. And you know what? And I had stuff stacked against me growing up as a young man. I didn't grow up with two parents. I grew up with my grandmother taking care of me as a single woman, taking care of me and my two sisters.
Living in the basement of a church.
And I did not turn out crazy. You know why? Because I had a stable home even though it wasn't even a stable home.
And Russ says, I noticed the media is so incredibly angry that it made so much money. And he also said, because of that right there, Enosh, because of what you were just saying.
Exactly.
And Big Tasty just said exactly. And
Exactly.
Jeremy just said, I'm like,
So-
okay, I'm back. So you missed it all.
Yeah. So anybody. William said that.
No, I said Jeremy Harris just said, okay, I'm back. And I
Oh,
said,
Jeremy
you
just missed
it all.
Okay, Jeremy. So if you missed what I just said, guess what? I said.
No, you're not going to go through it again.
Okay.
But he can go back and
Yeah.
watch it
The
again.
point is that these types of movies do not cause people to do violent things. There is no proof to that. Every study that's ever come out has said no. I got 3 boys who play all kinds of crazy
Fortnite,
stuff.
Call of
Fortnite,
Duty.
Call of Duty, all kinds of stuff. And guess what? They don't want to go shoot anybody up either because
Or do you?
maybe, I don't know. Maybe we should talk to him. I don't know. Where's Logan? I don't know. Anyway, no, the point is that this has nothing to do with this. We live in a society where there are people with issues. And look, my mother, and I'm going to be real with you right here. My mother had mental issues, okay? She was diagnosed paranoid, schizophrenic, manic depressive. There are people in my family who didn't want to deal with that. Okay? There are people in my family who didn't want to own up to it, do whatever. My mother had issues. That's why my grandmother raised me and my 2 sisters. My mom, when I was 11, put me through a wall. Okay? My mom, when I was 9 years old, I had to pry my mom off my grandma with a baseball bat. All right? We didn't all have these great lives or whatever. But here's the point. Is that people have mental issues in society. This thought that we don't have to talk about that aspect of what makes people. I've literally been driving down the street before when I was younger at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, saw a woman outside of a bar run up and drop kick another woman in the face, and somebody goes, "Oh my gosh, Ines, that's your mom." My mom was the one doing the drop kicking. Okay? People have issues, and those things need to be addressed, and we need to help those
Don't
types of people.
ostracize them.
Don't act like they don't exist, and don't act like they don't need help, and then we're just going to put them off somewhere. Those people need help. Here in Michigan, we're in Michigan. All throughout the 80s, they did a horrible thing. They locked a bunch of people up, and then they didn't get help. People didn't get the help that was needed, and so we had all these mental facilities. And then you know what they did? They stopped all the funding for the mental facilities, and they let them all out into public. And we literally, where we live, you didn't want to go downtown because there was all these group homes and things, and people were not getting the help they needed. I hope, if anything, movies like this show us. Look, everybody's who has mental issues not going to go out and become the Joker, right? That is a movie. It's a comic book character. Just like when something goes wrong, it doesn't make somebody want to go dress up as a bat, right? It's a movie. It's a comic book. All these people, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but all these people whining and complaining about this stuff this week, and like somebody said, they're all mad that this movie's making money, and it's just making money after money
Ross
after
said
money.
that.
And I'm
He's
glad it is.
Angry that it made so much money.
Because it's too bad. Too bad. You know what? It's a comic book movie that takes things seriously and deals with. If you can't handle the fact that we live in a world that has these kind of serious
And you can't
issues,
handle the truth.
and you can't watch a movie about it anymore, if our society has gotten that bad where we can't even talk about stuff anymore without somebody getting offended and somebody acting like a little whiny baby about it, then I'm sorry, but this world is probably not for you, because that's not the real world. And I don't care how many people are on that soapbox right now, that will not last, because something will break on that. That being said,
Caleb actually just responded and said, as someone who is mentally ill, the film surprisingly understands depression and PTSD so well. I applaud this film for its harsh reality of why we need good mental health care.
yes, absolutely.
And Wicked Steve actually said Los Angeles is in the brink of becoming Gotham City, to be honest. So much going on and not much being done.
Yeah. That, you want to put some energy someplace, put it into helping people instead of whining about a comic book movie and try to put all these resources behind,
Well, this is
banning.
the reason why they're acting this way.
Yeah, instead of trying to ban a comic book movie, for goodness sake, go help somebody. Stop. Anyways, the thing is this
Back
movie.
to the Joker.
This movie, though, I mean, I'm so glad that this movie takes that the scene where the guy gives him a gun, right? And he goes and he takes the gun, and and he has the gun on him, right? And he's performing for children, shows that like he's not
With it.
He's not with it. He's not thinking about these
Because
things.
even when he got it and he picked it up and he's like trying to hide it and he looks at him and he's like, shh. Like, that's not how you respond to children who are in a hospital dying.
No, there were some things. Like obviously he was not able to communicate very well. He was not able.
Jeremy said I felt bad for laughing at that part.
I know, me too, a little bit. but it was. I mean, it was kind of funny though when it dropped. I was like,
Ooh.
Yes.
Thank God it didn't go off.
yeah, really, right? I mean, at least they didn't go there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. But but the thing is like also like in the movie he's not able to communicate very well, which that goes back to a point though by the end of this review, because we're talking about spoilers. So obviously with this movie, I don't know if any of you have seen the movie
King of Comedy.
King of Comedy. So to talk about this movie, we got to talk about King of Comedy, because there are a lot of parallels between King of Comedy in the fact that in the King of Comedy, Robert De Niro plays a struggling comedian who's trying to get on TV, he's trying to get on a talk show, and ironically, in the Joker, Robert De Niro is a talk show host.
Steve said it's when the society failed him is what turned him into the person or character he became.
Exactly. So the King of Comedy, what happens in that movie is stuff is happening, stuff is going on, and then all of a sudden you realize at different spots that was never happening. That was always in the guy's mind. Like at one part, like Jerry Lewis plays the talk show host, and he's talking to he's watching the talk show host on his television show, and then all of a sudden he's like in the same, like he's having I think he's having like dinner with Jerry Lewis, and that never happens. He's not having dinner with Jerry Lewis.
Mind.
Just like in the Joker, when the Joker's watching Robert De Niro as the talk show host, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's in the crowd and gets pulled out. Now here's something interesting. And
Caleb has something interesting too.
Somebody noticed this, and I think this is a good way to rewatch this movie. Anytime people positively react to Arthur Fleck, like smiling or like speaking positively about him or reinforcing whatever he's doing, those are the times where it seems like that's not real, because anytime that he's doing something awkward or strange or whatever and people respond to him negatively, that seems to be how people really respond to him.
That's his real life.
That's his real life. That's what's really going on. But he has this projection, just like in King of Comedy, of what he wants it to be, of what he perceives it to be. I mean, just like the girlfriend thing, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow, right? So he does this extremely awkward thing by, faking like, shoot himself in the head. Yeah. And she laughs about it and smiles about it. If you were really in the hallway and somebody goes, hey, and doesn't really say anything.
Yeah.
So now I want to go back and watch the movie with that in
Anthony
mind.
said it sounds like American Psycho also.
Right? You said that. You said that.
Caleb says, look at Detroit. People have given up on that city. Corrupt cops, rampant crime, etc. Why do you think Batman movies filmed there?
Well, and you know what? I'll say this because we live about 60 miles north.
And I was raised 20 miles north of Detroit
Yeah.
my entire life.
So cities like Detroit and Flint. Yes, I know Flint. Everybody wants to say every time we tell people we're from the Flint area or from Flint. And I lived in Flint most of my life. But here's the thing. These cities are making some changes now, and the funny thing is they're not as bad as as they used to be. But we still get the brunt end of stuff where it's like Flint still has been like in the top 5 of like worst places to live, but we live here, you know? And so but anyways, go back to my point. I want to rewatch the movie with those things in mind because it brings the ending into a whole
Another level.
new perspective with everybody positively responding to the Joker. And I find this interesting because when we did our trailer review,
Yeah.
do you remember what I said? I said they were responding to something that he did in the movie where like, and he was basically looking at his handiwork, and I had people tell me that I was crazy. No, that's not what it is. He's responding to them. And I knew that that's not what was happening. And so I got that part right.
Derek said Colorado is the worst place to live right now.
There's some stuff going on in Colorado. There's definitely some stuff going on in Colorado. But like, you know, but the whole country has issues. There's stuff going on literally everywhere that ties in, you know, a Gotham City is like everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's like every state has its own Gotham.
Yeah, with what we have going on right now in society, when you look at that movie and you see what's going on with the tension between people who have and have not, right? And how that tension builds, right? And you can
And
see.
that's why those people were so willing to back the clown that did what he did.
Yeah. And so you have people who treat other people wrong, who treat other people with disrespect and with disregard. And you know what? Eventually people get tired of it.
He lost on the subway because of how people treated
That's
him.
how this country was founded. See, that's what I always think is funny, like about like all this stuff that people act like, you know, like we should live in this utopian society that like nobody's offended by anything ever, right?
Put a light up there, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. That nobody's. I don't know if you could tell. If like nobody's offended by anything, but
No,
that's
I
how
couldn't
this.
tell.
That's how this country was founded. Was because people were being mistreated. They were under persecution, and they finally said, "You know what? Enough is enough," and they fought back against that society, and we declared our own independence. Is everything in our history perfect? No. But the thing is that's why we came here, was because of persecution and being told what we could do and how we could worship and how we couldn't worship and all those different things. And so that's why America was
Back
founded.
then you were made fun of if you didn't go to church.
right?
Caleb's comment was really good. What
So-
is now?
well, Jeremy also said too, he goes, I think the part where he was on the car was in his head.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. I mean, it looks great
cinematically.
cinematically.
Oh, yeah.
It's phenomenal, and it makes you know a lot of sense. Like, see, that's the great thing about
Do you
this
want to
movie.
read it, or do
I
you want
feel
me
like,
to?
well,
So that's hold on. I just want to say this one
No,
thing.
no,
Is
I
that-
know. I'm just
Yeah,
asking if
okay.
you wanted.
So that's one thing I love about this
my
movie.
comment's tied to this.
Okay.
Okay.
One thing I love about this movie is you can watch this movie all the way through and just look at the surface stuff, right? And take this movie for what it is. So you can watch this movie and think, oh yeah, so all this stuff happens just the way that it happens. And at the end, they all rise up and he's the Joker and everybody loves him and all that stuff. And it makes sense. And then you can, this is a movie I think you can go back and watch like 2 or 3 times in a different way.
Yeah, and see it different ways.
Because you can go back and watch the movie then going, hey, when is it that things are real and when things are not real? And you can get a whole different outcome from the movie. That's a great movie right there. I mean, that's like a choose your own adventure movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, okay, so what did Caleb say that you wanted to talk
Well,
about?
he said
Well-
he wanted to tie into what you were saying.
Oh, to what I was saying?
Yeah,
Oh,
that car scene. One thing that I was thinking is like that scene could be like debatable on whether it was in his head or not, because like, they would lift him up because he was the one that started it. So they
The
were
revolution.
Like, yeah, they found him, and then it was like got really excited that they found him, and then he started doing what he did.
Mhm.
But also that was another part where they like responded good to him.
Yeah.
Or like how he wanted.
yep.
And then the theory that you said, and then also that I like thought more of is like the whole movie being in his head.
As soon as they started
Yeah.
doing that,
That's a possibility.
I said that, and I'm like, no, they're not going to do that. They're not. And as soon as they did, I was like, ugh, I thought so.
Well, because even the lady at the end who's interviewing him while he's in the hospital
looks similar to the lady in the beginning,
similar,
but not the same.
is similar. So you can see how the whole movie could just be in his head.
Yeah, because in the beginning when he's talking to her, and she talks back, she's talking about his past, and she's like, oh yeah, when you were in Arkham, and then it shows him like banging his head on that door.
Yeah.
It was like, what if he was in there the whole time?
What if there is never a Batman in that world, because the whole thing is just really just created in Arthur Fleck's head, that he creates this persona of the Joker. He creates the starting of the killing of the Wayne family. He creates in his head the
That
fact
he's related to Thomas.
yeah that the fact that Bruce Wayne grows up and becomes Batman, and all those things are in his head as he's an old man growing old in Arkham Asylum or somewhere else for all we know. I mean,
Because one thing that I didn't catch until I saw a picture of it was at the very end, his hair wasn't green. It was back to his normal hair color that it was throughout the whole movie.
Because and I told him,
you
said
mean in the hospital?
when he's in the
Yeah.
when he's in
Well, yeah,
the
because it was
asylum.
dye. It was dye. So
Yeah, I
by
know,
that time
but-
it would have come out.
Well, if it was dye, it would have to wear out. And
Yeah, but I think there's some time discrepancy.
Or if
though.
it
I
didn't
mean, well, there
happen
would
and
have
it was
to
in
be.
his head, he
Yeah.
never would have dyed his hair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even if the end happened. So my question is, if the end really happened,
yeah,
then how did he get back to being in a hospital?
yeah. If they had all those people.
If you got people lifting him up and basically making him
Worshipping
this
him.
anti-hero, so that's why you got to almost say that has to be in his head, because how do you go from being this anti-hero to all of a sudden being in Arkham again?
Gotta watch it again. Because
Yeah.
Caleb said, here's my plot for a potential Joker sequel titled Luthor. Lex Luthor adopts Bruce Wayne and sets him on his path to becoming a hero for the 1%. Explore Bruce Wayne's mental health. Caleb says, and having a morally great Alfred.
I did not like Alfred in this movie.
Yeah.
That's one thing I did not like about the movie. I did
Yeah.
not like the portrayal of Alfred in this movie.
Yeah, well, when they
He
showed him
was
at first,
weak.
I thought it was a guard.
weak sauce.
Like I thought it was a guard, like patrolling and like protecting.
Should
Wayne
not
Manor.
enter that into the chili contest.
No,
It's weak sauce.
people can say whatever they want to about the show Gotham, but Alfred on
Alfred
Gotham
kicked butt.
was kick butt.
I've only seen
For all the problems that Gotham had, Alfred
They
was
got
not
Alfred
one of them.
right.
You got 99 problems, but an Alfred ain't one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've only seen part of season 1, and it was like from what I saw of that, I really liked that Alfred.
That's the best Alfred,
Yes,
hands
ever.
down.
And then Derek said, aren't Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne in same age range? And then Jordan said,
It depends. It depends upon
this universe.
the universe, because in the comics back in the day, Lex Luthor was actually much older than Superman. He was a much older man than Superman was, and so Superman and Batman are around the same age. But nowadays, Lex is kind of younger and is more the same age as Superman. So
like
then
in
they,
Smallville.
yeah, so they would be the same age.
And then Jordan said, I'm sorry, I haven't seen Joker yet. I'm putting together a very special video on Scooby-Doo 2. That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned. Bye. And I said, sweet. And he says, I'll be sure to send you guys a link to the special video for you guys to react to.
Nice.
Jeremy Harris said, I think they still worship him, though. Meaning,
Yeah.
the following.
Mhm.
And then Wicked Steve says, home is what you make of it, aside from what's going on around you, and the riots at the end of the movie is what happens when a society is pushed to the brink, like the Rodney King riots in L.A.
That's a very true thing, because we could say that like that wouldn't happen, or like where would it go and stuff like that, but we all have seen plenty of riots over the history of this country.
Yep.
I mean, there was the Detroit riots.
Yep.
Back in the 60s, there
Yep.
was the LA riots in the 90s. Lots of times where society cracks,
Yeah.
right?
It loses
where
it.
they lose it, and so that's what makes that movie even more interesting
Realistic.
and realistic, is because as much as we want to sit here and say, well, they wouldn't do that, they wouldn't like hoist this villain up who shot
Yeah,
a
they
guy
would.
on screen or whatever. It's very plausible, because sometimes society cracks and we see the very worst side of our society. And that's one of the things I love about this movie, is it takes a snapshot of what the country can go, because right now especially we live in a political time and a very very rough time where nobody wants to give anybody the benefit of the doubt for anything. It's like if you say one little thing that I don't agree with, I'm just gonna just slam you, and you're a horrible person. Do you know how many people I know who are my friends who have no idea what my political leanings are at all, have no idea who I would or who I wouldn't vote for, and on both sides of the aisle, I think it's absolutely atrocious when I see stuff like on social media. People get on and they go, "Well, if you vote for this or if you think this way, then just unfriend me now. I don't even want to talk to you anymore." That's the problem, folks. That's where you get a breakdown in society where people just they can't talk anymore. You don't have to agree with everything I say or do. You don't have to be just like me. It takes all kinds. What it takes is people loving each other, caring about each other enough to be able to have conversations with people and learn from one another, because you may think differently than me, but I can still learn from you. And I may think differently than you, but you can still learn from me. And if we do that, it prevents those cracks in society. It's only when we just like come down with this hammer of absolution that just says, this is the way it's got to be or else, or I don't want anything to do with you, and you're a horrible person if you even think, like somebody said earlier, I think it was Jeremy said, if you even think to have an opinion other than mine, then, you know, I got no need for you.
Derek said, "Oh, okay, I've just been going off of Smallville because that's what I'm watching right now, so that's why I assumed they're the same age." Caleb says, "I've been watching Pennyworth on Epix, and I hate it and love it at the same time. The story is great, but Alfred is a cold-blooded killer / assassin." Rova Rods. Yova, I'm sorry, my eyes right now are just driving me nuts, even with my glasses on. He says, "Hey, Point Dexter Lounge, good to see you guys again. I have a theory. You think all the events of Joker are real or fantasy? All in his mind or for real?"
Oops, hold on. All right, we're back.
And then after him asking all those questions about if he thought it was fantasy or real, Jeremy Harris said, preach it, brother. Both sides have bad." And then
Sorry, guys, I just gotta fix this. Sorry.
And then Steve said, "Rapture and End of Days, it seems like ... Love thy neighbor as thyself."
Gotta adjust the camera.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the case. It's exactly the case. We, as a society, we got to get back to what it means to care about each other. You know, I think about the days.
Caleb says that's why I'm a registered independent.
There you go. I think about the days right after 9/11. You know, and there's been a lot of negative that's happened after that. You know, as far as like hatred and stuff like that of different people just because of their ethnicity and stuff. And I don't jump on that bandwagon. I don't think that's good. But as a people, I saw people coming together.
We the people.
Crossing the aisle, man, and coming together, you know. And I think a movie like The Joker takes a snapshot of what is going on right now and points it right back to us.
Yeah.
And says, you think you're above this, but you are not. You think you're better than this. But the thing is if you don't change, this is who you are. This is what you're doing as a society right now. It's amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. But Joaquin Phoenix, man, his acting in this, I gotta say, so good. So good. I love the awkward moments in this movie.
I actually, as weird as I know, people probably drove them nuts afterwards, but I actually liked the awkward laughing because it added layers to the story about finding out later that his mom's boyfriend tied him to a radiator and was beating on him and hit him, and that's why he's got these mental issues and why he laughs at awkward times. Like, it was actually weird when he started laughing and had to hand the card to that lady and be like, "I'm not right. I laugh at awkward moments because I have a mental issue." And it was like, so that was the only person we saw him give the card to. but he did it throughout the movie where it's like these awkward times and he's laughing and you're just like, oh, come on.
and
It's
then-
like, it was weird,
And then on
but
the
it was
subway,
good.
And then on the subway, it looked like he was like looking for it when those three guys were around him.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, see, and that's another thing that
Before
you
he
can,
flipped.
That's another thing that you can look for in this movie is by the end of the movie, like when he goes on the talk show, there is no sign of any of his mental illness at all.
Nope.
It's as if it's who he wants to be, who he pictures himself. Once he puts that makeup on, he's completely different. He's
He
not
didn't do the weird awkward laugh during that interview.
he's not awkward at all when he sits there and they talk to him.
And he's like, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I mean,
he communicates like because the other
Clearly.
times every time something happens like he doesn't communicate very well and he like when he gets fired he can't really put it into words like what he wants to say to defend himself or any of those things.
And then when he was doing the stand-up comedy, like how he was laughing at the beginning,
Yeah,
and
when
it was hard for him to say his jokes.
when he's doing the stand-up comedy, everybody laughs at his jokes in the stand-up comedy thing, and he's imagining that the girl being there in the thing. So probably none of that happened either. You know,
No.
I mean, at least they didn't respond to him. I'm guessing that way because then when Robert De Niro shows the clip,
Making
it's
fun of
shown
him.
as a negative thing. So obviously they did not respond to him the way that Joker or way that Arthur originally thought. But then also you think about this when he's being interviewed, all those things. He is very, very well read. Like his Demeanor changes when he walks up and like he kisses the lady who's supposed to be like Dr.
Yeah.
Ruth or whatever, and like he just kisses her on the mouth. He's very confident,
yeah.
right? Which is something Arthur Fleck is not throughout the entire movie.
Yep.
It switches on a dime.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can tell the exact point in the movie, like where everything changes, like his whole mood just changes, and like his whole character just flips.
Also, you know what other movie it reminded me of was, and I just watched this movie just a few weeks ago for the first time, and that is Fight Club. You know, the minute that he kills the guy in his apartment, you know, and he lets the little guy go.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's like, I'm not gonna hurt you. You know, whatever. It's
You've always been a friend to me.
then he jumps at him. But you know, that reminded me of that. It's like stuff's going on because honestly, I had never seen Fight Club, and I didn't know that was even an aspect of Fight Club.
Exactly, and that's why the fact that you watched it without me, it was one of those things that I was just like, so how did you think? Because it's not. People just think, oh, it's just this little campy, you know.
Nobody
thing.
ever talks about that part of it.
No, because
Nobody.
it's-
That movie's what 20-some years old, and nobody has ever had a conversation with me about what Fight Club entailed. That it was
Because
in.
we
That it was
don't
all
talk
in the
about
guy.
Fight Club.
Yeah, that it was all in the guy. I guess you guys don't talk about Fight Club. I don't know, but like seriously, nobody told me that was an aspect of that movie. So I have taken it for all this time that it was just a given that it was just about a Fight Club.
No.
And stuff. And like then I'm getting into it, and I'm like, and I will say, like a week before, I saw somebody said something about like, well, like is it in his head or is it not in his head? But they were talking about the way that it sounded like they were talking about what's his name's character.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. That like was Brad Pitt real or not or whatever. And so I was like, what? And so then when I saw it, it's like, well, holy crap, what? Why didn't anybody tell me this
You
before?
had a lot of firsts this year. You've seen Fight Club, you've seen Top Gun, you've seen all these like ones that are like old movies that
Trying to
you
get it
should have
done.
seen.
And I saw King of Comedy. So
Okay, so there's more questions.
okay.
Or not questions, but maybe statements. Jeremy said that's why Dr. Manhattan was right. It always takes some tragedy to unite people.
very
And
very
then-
good DC reference and a true statement.
And Anthony said, was Joaquin's laugh Joker worthy?
I thought
It
so.
wasn't. It wasn't my. It wasn't my Mark Hamill Joker laugh, but it was his own version, creepy, like when he did that, like that weird.
If you
whiny-
isolate it, so that's a good question because I was thinking
it was
about
weird.
I was actually thinking about that very thing today, and here's why I'm going to say it is. If you isolate it, and you just listen to the laugh out of context, if you're not watching Joaquin and where he's at
and his
what he's
facial
doing,
expression and
because he never really does that laugh as the Joker.
no,
No.
it's always his.
Arthur Fleck.
Yeah.
He never does that awkward laugh as the Joker. But when he's walking down the hallway right after he got fired,
Oh my gosh, Caleb.
and he goes, ah, right,
Yeah.
Go back and watch 1960s Batman because it sounds a lot like Cesar Romero.
That's
A
true.
lot like
That's
Cesar
true.
Romero.
And that's what I was thinking during the trailer, like when it showed him doing that laugh in the trailer. I was like, oh, that sounds like that joke.
Yep. If you isolate that and you don't look at him and where he is and the fact that he's not the Joker when he does it, he sounds like Cesar Romero.
Choco Boy says, "What's up, dude?"
What's up? What's up, Choco Boy?
I wish they would stop recasting the Joker and Batman, is what Derek said.
You missed Steve's comment after
Where?
asking about.
Oh,
Joaquin's
this and
laugh.
the Watchmen are close to what can or is happening in today's society. I didn't know. Didn't know if that was the one I just read.
That last statement, the last thing that you just said though, before that, what was that? About how many people are getting cast as the Joker?
I wish that they would stop recasting the Joker and Batman. Derek said that.
So we have been getting a lot of that, and so here's something interesting
But I've
too.
liked every
I
rendition.
saw a T-shirt today, and I thought it was disrespectful to Jared Leto. Look, I get it, guys. This is a great rendition of the Joker for what it is. We don't really even though this is the Joker, it's not really.
The Joker.
We're not really seeing the Joker. We're not seeing like his potential as like what he would do in a Batman movie, right? So
He doesn't have a beef.
no, he doesn't have a beef. Nice. So it is what it is, right? Obviously a lot of people like Heath Ledger. I loved Heath Ledger's Joker, but Heath Ledger's Joker was not even a comic book accurate Joker, really. It just wasn't. But he did a great job with the character, and it was a Joker that we wanted to see. It was an aspect of the Joker we wanted to see.
Like for serious.
Jack Nicholson did a different Joker. Everybody seems to do their own Joker. I think it's really interesting that people are talking about Joaquin Phoenix getting an Oscar, right, for his role, given the fact that Heath Ledger got an Oscar for the same role. Very interesting take on that. But I saw something today that it was supposedly like saying all the best Jokers, and it said Joker, and it had like the names of different people. So it like started off with J. It had Jack Nicholson's Joker. It said Jack Nicholson, and then it had O, and it had Joaquin, but it had the O and Joaquin Phoenix, and then K and what. But they left Jared Leto out of that.
Yep.
And here's the thing: you may not like Suicide Squad, you may not like Jared Leto's Joker.
I did.
But
Yeah,
there's
I
room.
loved it.
There's room for all of those people. There's room for all of those. That's the crazy thing about the Joker.
They should start their own band called Plethora of Jokers.
That's the crazy thing about the Joker, guys.
We've never really gotten like the same iteration. of
There
it.
is
No,
not,
true.
and that was one of my concerns about him getting an origin story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is not this distinctive Joker that's like, that's all he is.
Yeah.
The Joker is so many things that you can have Jack Nicholson or Cesar Romero's Joker or
They need a Joker verse.
I'm just saying, every Joker lives matter. And Jared Leto,
That's the T-shirt we need to put on the
Hashtag Joker Lives Matter.
hashtag Joker.
hashtag justice for Jared.
There you go.
Because
We got a new T-shirt for the merch.
there you go. We need that. Marquez, if you're listening, still, we need that one right there. Joker lives matter. Justice for Jared. Because it's all good. It's all good in its own way. You know? Yeah, anyways.
And then Caleb says, I'd love to see an alternate cut that goes out of his head and show everyone else's reaction.
Yes, that would be the sequel. That would be a great sequel right there, is to show what
movie-
actually happened
The
while
movie
he was...
from everyone else's perspective, seeing him.
Did he actually go on the talk show? Or did he maybe like go on the talk show, but it wasn't in the capacity that he went? Maybe he stormed the place and just shot Robert De Niro.
Did he end up in the insane asylum because of finding out what his mom did? Did he even kill his mom? All that stuff. I mean, it's like there's so many different aspects that you can.
Did he go to the studio, shoot Robert De Niro, and get arrested, and put in Arkham then?
See, that's what I assumed, but that's me. Caleb says, "Oh gosh, I can't wait for the Watchmen TV show."
Now I'm interested. See, now here's the thing about Watchmen TV show. I thought that was just a retelling of the story again, but they're not. They're picking up much later, and from what I've heard now, I really like it, but we don't have HBO, so.
And then Caleb also says, "I still need to watch the Terminator, Alien, Rocky, etc." So you're not
Of
the
those-
only one apparently.
You say out of
Dude.
those, Rocky's my favorite.
Yes.
You got to watch Rocky.
Yes.
You got to watch Rocky and then watch Creed too. Creed,
Yes.
well, Creed 1 and 2.
I was gonna say,
I
what
love
about
Yeah, not
one?
just Creed 2. But no, those movies are phenomenal.
Yes.
Those movies are phenomenal.
You
I
will
know.
need Kleenex too.
I get it. It can be overwhelming, but that's what we did with the boys.
Yep.
We just said, you know what, we're gonna go through this stuff, and when we have a night, we're
We
just
watch,
gonna
like,
watch.
2 a night. Or
Yeah,
something, like,
sometimes
2 a
we
day.
watch 2 in
If it
one
was a
setting.
weekend.
If it was a
Yeah.
weekend, we'd watch 3 or whatever. But I think there's some
Caleb
of these movies.
says he's seen the Creed movies.
Okay. Dude, if you've seen the Creed
Yeah.
movies
Then
and
you
not
need to
seen
see the
Rocky,
Rocky.
it's
Everything
not
else
even
will
in
make more
context.
sense.
It's not even in context. I mean, which is fine. I mean, because
Yeah.
Creed movies are good movies on their own. But man, if you
Yes,
go
I
back and
love
you
number 2.
watch the Rocky movies. You know, the first one's a little slow at times, but there's some slow moments in there. But they're such good movies. And what other movie did he say he hadn't seen? Terminator.
Terminator.
Watch Terminator 1 and 2. If you get around to the other ones, it's okay.
Jeremy said we just can't compare 15 minutes of footage to a whole movie.
Yeah.
Steve said, how did you
Are you talking about Joker? I think yeah. No, that's so true. Like, what if Jared Leto's Joker got to actually have a Joker movie?
Yeah.
And you know the crazy thing is that, like, man, and I've seen pictures of this, and it's so true. People harped on the DCEU something fierce, and yet it's so comic book accurate in so many ways. No, I mean, I know the Joker doesn't have damage across his forehead and grills. I mean,
But
that stuff.
that's an updated version of what
Yes.
could be, and that's them taking their
Like
own
we said
creative
earlier, it's a
liberties.
new
to
That
what they
stuff.
want.
That stuff. I mean, there's choices that I don't like, but that doesn't mean that I throw him out, right? I mean, because, like, look at Harley. Harley Quinn is awesome. Like,
she's not wearing the
Margot
jester
Robbie's
outfit.
is awesome. I mean, but we got that whole scene that showed her dancing with the Joker.
in the Jester
You know,
outfit.
we get a dead Robin. You know, and ha ha ha, the joke's on you. Like, my goodness, I wish that we had gotten to see, and who knows what this, you know, Birds of Prey movie is gonna show us, because they're still talking about Jared Leto may make an appearance. We don't know. He could shoot something last minute. You know, so far it just looks like the actor.
Well, he also teased something like the night, like
I know.
His pictures came out as he tweeted there's a clown emoji, and then on Snapchat he's put a clown emoji on his story.
So it could be. I mean,
Yeah.
probably not, but you know, it's probably going to end up just being
Wicked's-
like the Superman Shazam situation.
Wicked
Yeah.
Steve said, how did you all feel about the fact that Joker wasn't the one who shot Bruce Wayne's parents? Because for a minute I thought that might have been.
I was glad. Because I mean that was an '89 Batman thing. Nowhere else does.
And that's
does,
what Caleb said. That was
Yeah.
unique to 89 Batman.
Yep. Nowhere else does the Joker ever do that, and so that was something that people were actually mad about.
And he
in
says, I was
the old
fine with
movie.
it. He's never the killer in the comics.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
Both you and I had the same reaction right before that scene happened. It
I
was
knew it was there.
As soon as it showed the theater,
The
both
Zorro.
both you and I went,
As soon as they showed Zorro, I went, oh, this makes so much sense. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've gotten that excited. Like, that was my favorite. That was my most excited moment. I
Yeah.
love the whole movie, but that was
Because
my
as
most.
he's on the card reveling in what's going on, all of a sudden in the back alley, this is
It
happening.
was like the creation of
Yeah.
both the Joker
Yes.
and Batman in that moment. Right? That creation
Which
moment.
we've never seen those together.
That was mind blowing because you got to see that moment that the Joker is created and lifted up, and the same moment that the catalyst for what turns Bruce Wayne into Batman happen at the same time. Oh, that was so good. I mean, that was. I can't even sitting here, like, I get goosebumps just that moment. It was so powerful. And how many times have we seen the death of Martha and
Separately,
Thomas
but
Wayne
never together
be
like
killed?
this.
Like, I mean, people were so ticked off about it in Batman versus
you
Superman.
always know that you
BVS,
see.
Batman movies, Gotham.
I know people were.
You always see the gangster. You always see the couple. You always see the pearls fly. You always see Bruce's response.
Yeah. He
But to
covered it
know-
all.
Yeah, but to know
He
that
actually
as
didn't
this
show
is hap-
Bruce.
I know, but to know that this is happening, and over here he's reveling in, hey, I just killed somebody, and they're raising me up as like.
And if that did actually all
Yeah.
happen, the fact that it is
Happened
tied,
together.
that it's tied to the Joker, get out of here with that. That's awesome.
Okay, Derek said I had no problem with Suicide Squad Joker. He just wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, that's fine.
Jeremy says the best part about DC in general, so many ways to do these characters. That's why I love it.
Right? That's the thing. It's like there's so many ways these characters could be interpreted.
Russ said, since Ewan McGregor's comment, I'm not hyped for the Birds of Prey film.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think at the end of the day, Russ, I'm hoping. Did you hear what Ewan McGregor said?
No.
Ewan McGregor said that Birds of Prey, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, is a feminist movie. I'm hoping that what
so
that
women
means.
can't just have a movie, just have a movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I see how that's going in with Batwoman, but
I know. I'm hoping what that means is because it's about
Female-led.
strong females, and that it's a female-led
that's what we
production.
do.
And that's what I think it's going to be from what I've seen. I didn't see anything. I mean, we haven't seen anything. But it's being led by Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn is very opinionated. So there's nothing wrong with feminism. There's something wrong with unchecked man-hating.
Yeah.
Right? Just like there's something wrong with unchecked macho is what's the
Machismo.
what's the word for I'm just having a brain fart here because I'm a guy and sometimes I make mistakes.
What was that?
I'm a guy and I make mistakes. No, we're
Caleb said toxic masculinity.
toxic masculinity. There you go. No, I mean because it's true. There are people who are just chauvinist pigs. I mean, there are guys who think that the world revolves around them, and I understand that, so I can recognize that.
But you also, in
the
same
solution is not to
but
act
the
like
same
women.
thing though is you don't want.
Over-pushing.
I personally, even as a woman, can't stand women that are just like, well, women have to. The same thing can be said about a woman as well.
Yeah.
And just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you get to just be like, throw the card of, well, women have to have equal rights.
Neither extreme is good. Neither extreme is good. Somewhere in the middle, like the Wonder Woman movie, where men and women work together to accomplish a goal.
She didn't have to demasculinize, make it worse for Steve Trevor. He could still
They
be.
balance each other out.
Yes.
Yeah, Steve Trevor was awesome. They were a great balance.
Steve says, I think the meeting between Joker and Bruce Wayne was the best for me and how it played out.
Oh, one thing-
Except for the weird part when he put his fingers in his mouth to make him smile.
one of my friends and I were talking about the Joker on Monday before class started,
Froze up again.
and
I think I know what's going on.
We're still frozen.
Okay, you should be back up and go now.
We are now.
Okay. So I'm going to have to change the microphone on this, kind of like I had to do on Tuesday night, guys. So just give me just a second here. Bring it a little closer. Go ahead, Ivan.
No, my friend and I were talking about it Monday before class started, and one thing that he pointed out is what if he actually is related to Thomas Wayne? Because Thomas Wayne would have the money to cover something like that up if he needed to. It'd be like, well, like the media knowing about them and knowing about their mental issues, he could always cover it up like, oh no, I never did anything with them, and he'd have the money to cover it up. And when he said that, I was like, oh, I didn't think about it like that way. Because you normally see the Waynes as like the good guys.
Yeah. With no issues, nothing to hide.
And so I was like, huh, that's something to think about for the movie.
All right. There we go.
Caleb says the film screams for a sequel, but the director doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, but Caleb, that's what they said before the movie. Joaquin Phoenix now has made some positive comments about doing a sequel. So it's a good question how a sequel could get made now at this point. Because I agree with you. They said before the movie that they weren't going to do anymore. This was it. It was a one-off. But now it looks like they're so excited about this because it's done so well.
Sieberj, Sieberj.
Okay.
Sieberj. He says Heath Ledger is the GOAT. Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
Derek
Hey,
Ackerman.
Heath Ledger did a great job.
Yes.
Nobody can ever take that away. When I first heard
I
that,
got these scars.
when I first heard that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker, I was ticked because I couldn't believe that they were actually going to make him the Joker. I thought he would be horrible. He turned out to be really good. Again, not comic accurate, but a different Joker and a phenomenal job at that.
Yeah.
So,
Derek says, I'm still not that excited for Batwoman because I think I've said this before, but she was a sidekick who would she be going up against? Russ said, I just think the politics should be left out.
yep, absolutely.
Caleb says the question is it classical empowering feminism or is it modern anti-man feminism?
That's it. You hit the nail right on the head there, my friend.
Money on the nose.
You hit the money on the nose. That's an old reference, Tiff. That's wow. Wow, you pulled the money on the nose reference out, huh? Years ago I had a radio show. Years ago I had an online radio show that we did a live
Because there's things
broadcast.
that I do that you guys don't let go, so
That's
have to do
I
the
know
same
that's
thing.
where she got her nickname Tifftastic because she was one of my sidekicks on the she ended up becoming one of my sidekicks and I did the show with my friend Mike Beer and one day I was trying to say you hit the what was I trying? I don't even know what I was trying to say.
nail
You hit
on
it
the
on the
head.
money, or you hit
Nail
it.
on the head.
You hit it on the money or whatever, and I said you hit the money on the nose or the nose on the money or.
You hit the yeah.
Wow, that's years ago. Wow, that's
so
fun.
Wicked Steve said technical difficulties. Insert 70s elevator music when we froze.
Just don't be on an elevator with the Joker.
Ross said most likely anti-man feminism. And then Caleb said, I'm fine with politics and film as long as they're abstract ideas and not people having long, shove it down your throat exposition.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, because politics are part of life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all those things are part of life. So it's not like we should just ban those things, but like when you're trying to preach to somebody how they should feel about everything.
Yeah. And that's why Russ says the problem is that that's mostly what they do now. Wicked Steve says, speaking of being butthurt, have you all seen the Freddie Prinze Jr. rant about the Star Wars fan? OMG, yikes, plenty of F-bombs from Freddie.
No, I have not heard that.
Apparently we're going to have to watch that.
Uh-oh.
Hated throwing F-bombs.
Wow, I'm going to have to...
And then Caleb says, like how Star Wars does politics, it's not shoehorned in, it's good versus evil, tyrannical governments versus freedom fighters, etc.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of people I think who read a lot into the new Star Wars because I don't see it as much. I mean, everybody had a problem with Grand or not Grand Admiral. What's her
Phasma?
No,
No, not Phasma.
what's her name? With the purple
Holdo?
hair, Holdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a problem.
Admiral Holdo.
Admiral Holdo, and they were like, you know, like she totally disrespected Poe and everything. You know, put him in his place because Poe was an idiot. Poe was a jerk. Like, you can ask all my friends, and I have asked my
You
friends.
don't just walk in and be like, I need to know the answers.
Yeah.
I've asked my friends who've been in the Marines and other armed services, hey, if you just did something stupid that got a bunch of people killed, and your commanding officer demoted you, would you have any rank, anything to be able to walk in on an admiral, a vice admiral, and say, tell me what your plan is now and where we're going and what we're doing because I demand to know. No, you'd end up with yourself in the brig and you wouldn't be a part of anything and you'd be, Poe was lucky that she had a sense of humor and just told him to get out of her face and said, get this man off my bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, people who want to act like Poe should have been in command and all that stuff don't understand what happened in that scene.
Just like in a new job, you haven't proven yourself yet.
No, like, and that, you know, and she had. It actually showed that she had a sense of humor because she joked with Leia about it later.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like if that was, here's the thing, if they had not killed, and I'll give you this, I wish that they hadn't killed Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
If they had not killed Admiral Akbar
It's a trap.
and Akbar had taken over for Leia, and Poe did that to Admiral Akbar.
Hello, Sebastian. Welcome.
Welcome, Sebastian. And Poe did that to Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
And Akbar told him, "Get off my." Everybody would have gone. Yeah. He went, get off my turf. Get off my bridge. It's a trap. Shut up, or I'm gonna. And if Admiral Akbar had said exactly what Admiral Holdo said, nobody would have complained. Everybody would have applauded Admiral Akbar.
Wicked Steve said justice for Akbar.
Justice for Akbar.
Caleb says it's sad because I agree with the content of Freddy's rant, but not the tone and foul language.
Really?
So now we have to watch.
I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Great. That's just what we need, more Star Wars controversy.
From the guy who played Kanan on Rebels.
Yeah, really.
And his wife was the second sister. Or fifth?
No, it was a second sister.
One of the
is
sisters.
Fallen Order.
Yeah, seventh sister?
Yeah.
That was it, the seventh brother?
No,
There's like all kinds of
it was
weird stuff going
yeah.
on
It
in
was
there.
fifth brother and seventh.
That's right, it's fifth brother and seventh sister, right?
Who knows? There's numbers of brothers and sisters and stuff.
Hulk Hogan's in there somewhere. Brother!
That's the last.
Is that the last?
That's the last one.
So so I guess I'll just say
because of the time. But
yeah.
my
So
nasal
just
congestion, I
yeah.
need some soup.
So just bringing it down to this.
Caleb said he also played Fred in Scooby Doo, and his
He did.
wife played Daphne.
He did. He did.
Very.
So here's the thing. Joker,
Were
big
you
hit.
I know what you did last. No, not together.
Big hit, the Joker is. Phenomenal movie, a timely
Talking like
movie.
Yoda, you are.
Good movie it is. Go see it. You must have not. You have.
I feel like Joker's gonna be one of those movies how it's like we're still gonna find stuff like later.
Oh,
about
yeah.
The movie.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Like people are like, oh yeah, we didn't connect this like years ago, like these things together, and we're gonna find stuff else.
And what I love about this movie is it's doing just what we've been talking here. It's turning people on their heads.
All these people who are whining and crying about everything, they don't want the Joker movie to do well, and it's going to do well anyways because people
It made
like
almost
it.
100 million in just the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, it made 96 million. It did better than Justice League in its first week. One character about a villain and no connection with the superhero,
And rated R.
and rated R.
Yeah.
And it still
Almost
did better
made
than
R.
Justice League. Like, nobody's talking about that. So, here's the thing. I watched the thing this week, and this last I'll say talk about this, but the people who vote for the Oscars and stuff, there was a lot of people who were just like blown away by it and said, this is amazing. And then there's a bunch of these little slimy little Oscar voters and stuff who were like, oh, I couldn't watch it. It was the most detrimental movie I've ever seen in my life. What? What movie did you see? Like, seriously. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
The movie that I watched that I could not see that messed with my brain that I just lost 2 hours of my life was Vanilla Sky.
Oh my gosh. They were like
Oh,
seriously,
Birdman.
they were seriously
And
saying.
Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman. They were
Birdman and Vanilla Sky are tied for me.
They were seriously saying that this movie was so detrimental to them and just scary, and that it hurt them and it scared them, and it was so violent and so raw. Like, did you watch John Wick?
Yeah.
For goodness sake, there's been
Well,
3
no.
John Wick movies, and he killed more people in the first half hour after they killed his dog than Joker even thought about killing. And
Joker's kill count is like 6 or 7. Right? I saw a post that's like, oh yeah, Joker's kill count is like 6 or 7.
Caleb said, I did see a poster for 1981's The Excalibur, and that same poster was in the Wayne's death scene from Batman vs. Superman.
yeah, well, because that was one of the movies that we're playing.
Yeah.
Because it was set in 1981, so that's why Zorro is playing, because Zorro is the classic movie that's playing, and then they showed that Excalibur was playing. Good eye there.
Sebastian was saying how he did not do well in his exam, and he says, I'm depressed because my depression went away.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Hey, just keep your chin up, Sebastian. You just keep going, man. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So no, but I'm glad that this movie is doing well. I'm glad that you guys who've seen it have enjoyed it and have loved it so far. And I don't see this thing stopping anytime soon.
Russ said, apparently these Oscar voters don't have the capacity for abstract, complex thought.
Man, I hate to, it's like uh-oh.
Maybe they need to just go see the Smurfs.
Smurfs.
Because that's,
Where Smurfs is.
well, yeah.
It's like,
Not just that, it just seems like they need to have these, like, flowery, happy movies. They can't see anything that has anything to do
hate
with
to see
real
them at a
life.
fast food restaurant. I said no pickles! No pickles!
It's
Why
hard.
are there pickles here? And then Pickle Rick jumps up and goes, I'm Pickle Rick! And shoots him. But hey, this movie, I'll just give my final, my closing thoughts on this movie. Looks great. Cinematography is just phenomenal. The plot is great. I think it definitely speaks to many points about our society nowadays and shows us like it's like a mirror reflecting back to us what we need to be careful of. It's a warning. I think it's a warning. I really think it's a warning for our society.
Did you mention warning?
It's a warning. It's a warning. Jackal? Is it a jackal? Family Guy reference for you. No, I really appreciate this movie, and I'm glad that the movie was made. If I could change one thing, this is what I would change. In the beginning of the movie, I wish there was an Elseworld symbol.
Yeah.
Because
That's
At least-
how it felt.
it was an Elseworlds kind of thing, and then also my hope is for people to do their research before they go in to see this movie or understand what this movie is, because I've already seen people not understanding that this movie is not connected to the DCEU. I don't know how people do this, where they don't know anything about a movie. I mean, for those of us who love movies and we go see movies and we're nerds. That's why we're here, right? That's what the Poindexter Lounge is. It's a place.
For nerd.
That's right. So we get all this stuff. But there's tons of people out there who like will go to see a movie like The Joker and then come back and go, well, how does this go with Ben Affleck's Batman? And
It doesn't.
Did you hear about it's been like the past 24 hours that that's rumored that they're gonna do 2 more standalone movies, 2 more villains.
really,
One is Poison Ivy, and the other is Two-Face.
Two-Face.
don't.
If they could finally get a Two-Face right.
Here's what I'm gonna say about that. Just don't. WB, do not overreact to this. That all of a sudden you think that everybody
Good luck tomorrow,
wants.
Sebastian.
What's he doing?
He says I gotta go, guys. Got school tomorrow.
All right, man. Good luck, man.
Derek says don't do those 2 villains.
Yeah, bad choices
Sebastian
for
said
villains. Too.
bye.
Bye.
Said
We're
bye.
gonna get going here too, Sebastian. But no, don't jump on that bandwagon. Don't start that. That's not what this is. This is not a call to that. This
Derek
is
said maybe Zod.
this is not a call for doing villain movies all of a sudden. The Joker is a specific character that there's a story to tell there. Don't try to find a story with every villain. That's not what this is. Why does Warner Brothers have to overreact to everything like that and give us stuff that we don't want? That's not what we want. But anyways, I digress.
And then Ross says anybody wants updates from my production company, I'll be glad to keep you posted.
Awesome. So Tiff, final call. What do you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
We already gave this. Back,
Oh, we did, didn't we?
we did.
Yeah,
I
we
gave it a
did.
9.5
But what about like
out
a
of
week
10.
later?
But like a week later,
After
you've had,
processing it.
yeah, you've had time to process it now.
Think about it, talk
You
about
gave
it.
it a 9.5 before.
I'd still stay at 9.5.
Okay.
There was a couple little things here and there that were like, but for the most part, like I would go see it again. I would, I can't wait to own it. I want to see it from these different perspectives now
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, I was on call, so I was a little kind of taken out of it. It was not knowing what to expect, so you're just trying to pay attention to everything, and then you're like, wait a minute, what's real, what's not, and then the end happened, and you're like, so it's like I have to go, pretty much. So I want to like go see it from a different, perspective, and then I want to, so I'm excited to see it again, and I love his rendition, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from any other Jokers. I still love the other Jokers and what they've done, but I love what he's done with his rendition.
Isaac, how about you?
It says on Tuesday, it was like my first, like after seeing the movie, it was an 8 out of 10, and then throughout the night it slowly went up. But a week later, I'd probably say a 10 out of 10 for me.
Really, 10 out of 10.
Steve,
yeah.
Caleb gave it a 10 out of 10, definitely worthy of Best Picture Oscar.
Yeah, I'd say a 10 out of 10.
What did I give it last time?
8.
They give it an 8.
Yeah.
After having more time to think about it, and like you said, the more I think about this movie and I see the pieces that
It's
fit
a mind
together,
bender.
and yeah, it's.
It's one of those ones where you can't see it once.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
And it keeps you thinking, and you're like, well, wait a minute, why did this happen? What about this? What? And it makes you want to watch it again because what about this?
For sure. So I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I don't think it's a perfect movie.
That's what I get.
I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I agree with Caleb. It's a phenomenal movie. It's definitely worthy of at least consideration
Yeah.
for a Best Picture. I think this movie works as a movie regardless if it's the Joker or not. If you take the Joker out of that and you put anybody else in that, like you just make it a character named Arthur Fleck, it's still a great movie because most of the movie he is Arthur Fleck. He's not even
Yes, the
referred to
only
as a
time.
Joker.
He isn't
Well,
the
the
last
only
half
time
hour.
is just that last part when he's like, "Hey, when you call me out, can you refer to me as the Joker?"
Yeah.
That's the only time. That
And
it's
that's a reference
referenced.
back to the King of Comedy.
Yeah.
Because they ask Robert De Niro's character when he wants to go out and he's going to do his comedy bit on the show. He says to Jerry Lewis, he says, "Hey, can you do me one favor?" And he says, "What?" He says, "When you introduce me as the King." And so that's a callback to that.
Yeah.
So like I said, I definitely think that it's something that should be considered. I think it'd be interesting if this actually becomes the first comic book movie that's actually nominated.
Yeah,
I don't know if it'll win.
but just getting a nomination, it goes to prove that Joaquin did something enough to.
I think Joaquin should definitely be nominated, hands down. I mean, if you give Heath Ledger
Yeah.
a
But-
posthumous,
Did he get that after he died?
yes, it was
Okay.
a was it called posthumous thing, because he was already gone. If you give that to him, you got to give Joaquin one
Alive.
alive, which would be interesting, because that would mean that
Prehumans?
that the only two actors who received a Best Actor, because he got a Best Actor, right? So the only two actors in a comic book movie that received Best Actor would both have been the Joker.
Yeah.
Interesting thoughts. The Joker's an
that
interesting
earlier.
character.
The inner workings of your mind are an imagination.
My brain is a genius. That right there, folks, is a Lonely Island reference. Incredible Thoughts. All right, look that up. There's your homework for the night. Go as soon as you're done with this video. Look up Lonely Island, Incredible Thoughts. If you haven't seen it, see the movie Pop Star. Never stop, never stop.
stopping. Well, Steve said go to the Star Wars Theory YouTube channel and watch the Freddie Prinze Jr. rant.
Okay.
Caleb says
Who said
his
that?
la-
Wicked Steve.
Wicked Steve.
Okay.
And then Caleb said, I 100% believe the original script for this wasn't a comic book script, and it was molded into a Joker movie, and that's why it's so good. You
I
craft a
think so.
brilliant story and mold everything around that.
I think so too, for sure. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate all of you. We're so glad that we were able to get this video done. I didn't think I was going to get this video done tonight, so I'm glad that we were able to do it and have these conversations with you. And glad that you guys feel the same way that we did about the movie, that you
Yes.
guys love it, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I mean, I hope that this does something positive, because DC has lately been on a roll. We've had a few good movies in a row. You know, we've had Aquaman, Shazam was phenomenal. This movie is fantastic. Birds of Prey will be the next one that we'll have to see. Is it good, or is it a step back? I'm
Yeah.
hoping that it's good. And then we'll see going forward. We got Wonder Woman and some other things to look forward to. So the Suicide Squad with James Gunn. So guys, let's just hope in
I'm
that.
thinking something for that, or hoping
Just keep
something
hoping.
for that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey guys, until next time, we love y'all. Keep it nerdy. Keep being nerdy. And my name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, along with the lovely.
Tiptastic.
And of course,
Isaac Juan Kenobi.
alright guys, we will see you next time.